This is Carl Tepper sitting in for Chad Hasty. I have Representative State Senator-elect Drew, I believe I have him on the line, Drew Springer on the line. Representative, State Senator, I have to be respectful now, Drew.
Carl, no way, buddy. We're friends, man. Just like everybody in West Texas, we're friendly. No, it's Drew.
State Senator-elect, I'm gonna put on my professional hat. Are you? Congratulations, man! Way to go. It became a contentious race, and a really interesting one for those of us who like to observe these things. Congratulations, Jordan Berry too. He's a political. He's a campaign guy. Who's real good at it, and he's been through some
great consultant.
Yeah, he's a great political consultant. He's been through some really tough ones like this before, and always seems to get his guys out of there with a win. He's done it with you before, and he's done it with several of our friends. I don't want to put you in a spot, but I do want to talk about it. I don't know if it was it just insider baseball, or was it really sort of a proxy war between, Governor Greg Abbott, has had the lockdowns and everything, but he seemed to take your side. And then you had the Empower Texas crowd and Tim Dunn pouring money into Shelley Luther's campaign. And do you think that was just overblown? Was it you versus her, or a little bit of all of it, where maybe some outside forces came in and were which is not unusual. We're trying to take the seat.
No, look, we made our side of the race be about the issues, the things that, we want to do going forward for Texas and that Senate district, and building upon the things that I've done for the 8 years in the House district. One of the highest rated conservatives, probably one of the most effective conservatives in the House. And so, we wanted to make it about that, because in races, you're looking who is going to represent you. Her side tried to make it, a proxy on, the COVID response. And frankly, we made it, said, look, we agree that the governor didn't do it correctly. We've already filed bills to take his executive powers away. So, she wanted to try to own exclusively that issue. We sort of said no. We both agree with that. So now let's get on to the bigger things. Let's talk about, transportation, water, education, and those things. And I think that's where the voters clearly understood, that I was head and shoulders the best choice in that.
Some of us are, very annoyed with the COVID response, and we think about it, we talk about it a lot, but what is the general population? Now that you've been on the campaign trail for a while, is it as big as an issue as some of us are making it out to be? Or like you said, are people really more concerned about, the future of transportation in the state, or agriculture or something?
Well, they know long term that the pandemic will be behind us. But I can tell you that it is not lightly thought of, because there are numerous businesses that have been shut down. Whether it's wineries, which is now Texas agriculture, not being able to stay open, restaurants at smaller percentages, especially in counties and cities that at times have almost no COVID cases. And that's why a one-size approach doesn't fit. That's why we needed a special session. That's why we need to have members who represent their constituents down in Austin, fighting for, legislation that's written with a scalpel, not with a sledgehammer.
We're speaking with State Senator-elect Drew Springer. Drew, I'm a little disappointed. I'm a little concerned that I liked Shelley Luther's energy. I like that she didn't really care that much about government, like a lot of people don't. And then suddenly it was in her face and putting her in jail for particularly this COVID response. But it can happen to people on a myriad of levels and issues. And, whether you follow the fire marshal on having sprinklers and all kinds of things that could get us in a bind in business. So she got a wake-up call about government, and she had the energy, and she was well-spoken, and I think she handled herself well through the entire process and issue when she got locked up. So I'm quite concerned that I feel like she got misled. Like, she would have been a great person to bring in and nurture and maybe run for city council where she lives, or mayor or state rep or something. Do you have an opinion about that? I'm disappointed. I think she was misled and maybe could have been a better resource and asset, maybe in another direction.
Well, we look, Texans love that fighter, and we love that fighter mentality of, when we're being wrong, we stand up to it. But then you've got to be able to come in with solutions and how that works. And then that's where the finer things are. And like I said, we've got solutions to the executive overreach. Unfortunately, we have to wait till we're in session to put them in place. But you have to have solutions for property tax issues, for water issues, and those, education challenges that we face. And, I think that's where voters look back. And yes, I mean, there's a lot of people who have not held office. Doesn't mean they're not suited to be, even a Texas senator. But you have to have a firm grasp on the challenges that are facing the state. I'm sure that some people think that she may have been better served starting at a different level. But I think the voters have spoken on this.
When we're moving like a freight train full force into the next legislative session, when do you get sworn in?
I will be sworn in sometime between January 2nd and January 12th. We're waiting to look at the calendars and figure out when Senator Fallon steps down, when we have to be sworn in. So it'll be somewhere right before the start of session, more than likely.
Okay, because I just don't want your district, which is, part of my area, to be at a disadvantage where they don't have a senator that's seated and can start, filing those bills that they need to file. Can you do that at this point, or do you have to wait till you're sworn in?
Well, I will have to wait till I'm sworn in on that side. I have spoken with the lieutenant governor. That will not be a problem, having those bills filed right at the start of session for the Senate side of things. For the House side of House District 68, there will be another special election. And from that standpoint, probably sometime today, I will file a letter with the governor telling him that I will not be taking the office that I won. And that allows him to go ahead and call a special session rather than having to wait until January.
I was wondering,
election, I should say.
Yeah, thank you for that explanation. I was wondering about that. So I hope those folks get, look, I want to tell the voters out there, we got the right guy, got elected on Saturday to the state Senate. So congratulations. Do you have a biggest priority or two or three coming into the next session?
My biggest priorities have been, the executive overreach. I've made that my biggest bill, my first bill that I've filed. I still want to see us reduce our property tax on our school taxes, go to more of a consumption tax. So as much of that as we can buy down, I want to go further than what we did last session. And so I'll continue to make that a top priority in there as well. And then I filed a whole host of other ones, constitutional carry, rural broadband is a big issue. And so, those type of things, we're going to fight for all of them.
This is a little bit of a change for you since you're going to have a little bit more of a metro area you'll be representing. You've always been sort of, one of those rural guys out there, keeping an eye on the farmer and rancher. Were you surprised by some of the issues coming up from the more metropolitan areas that you're going to have to represent now?
Really, it wasn't. I mean, we vote on them. We've had hearings on them. And so you see those in the 8 years I've been in Austin. So it wasn't something new. While, I personally don't sit in traffic to get out of my subdivision every day. Right. I clearly understand that growth in Texas and transportation and some of those things are issues that we've got to work through. Obviously, in West Texas, we understand water scarcity. And so knowing that as we continue to see some of the growth on the western side of the Senate district, that they've got challenges that they got to make sure that the water in their aquifer is enough to keep the citizens and the growth alive.
Do you have any parting words for everyone?
I'll say this. It is the 18 counties of West Texas that are not in the Senate district. I just want to thank each and every one of those constituents. They've been fantastic. It's been an honor to represent them. And I've made it very clear, as I did town halls back in October, is, until they get a representative in that seat, I am happy to help file any bills that they need, work hand in hand with Senator Perry, not to overstep him, but, I owe a debt of gratitude to the greatness of West Texans, and I will always be there for them.
State Senator-elect Drew Springer, Representative Drew Springer, Merry Christmas and congratulations.
Merry Christmas. I appreciate it. Look forward to visiting again in the future.
You bet, sir. Bye-bye now.